Thank you for tuning in once again. Thank you for coming to Keep It Film with me once again. And thank you for chiming into the film community to see what's going on in the film world. We really appreciate it. I appreciate your support, and I appreciate you continuously coming back to the channel to check out what's going on. Today, we have a special guest. She has worked on a few different films. She has been in the trenches. When I tell you she has worked on films, she has actually worked on the films. She's not like me, not like the writer that stays behind the scenes. She's actually on set, putting in the work, dealing with the actors, dealing with the DP, the camera crew, and all of that. I only had one other job where I did that. I was a production assistant, and that wasn't a pretty situation for me. I took care of a pig on set. So that's not a good experience that I like to remember. But I definitely wanted to have Vianca come on the show today and give you guys some more insight on what she does on set as a crew member. So today we have Vianca. Vianca, how's it going?
Hi, is it going good? How about yourself?
I am doing great. I am glad that you were able to come on the show because this is definitely something I've been wanting to talk about with the viewers here about what actually happens on set. I know that you have worked on Leo. Can you talk to us a little bit about that experience? How was it dealing with the actors? How was it dealing with the camera crew? Where did you fit in? Was it hard to fit in? Can you just tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. With Leo, I really like working on Leo because it was a small crew.
Okay.
And a lot of us was able to work together compared to what I'm used to working. So back in 2006, that's when I had started working in film industry in Louisiana. I'm not for sure if everybody familiar with some of the old cats, but back in the day they had the No Limit Records.
Okay.
And there was a group named Cain and Abel.
Okay.
One of the twins is a director and over a lot of film industry. So that's who I came under. I came under Cain and Abel. So they was the one that had got me into working on Mike F's Funny Business, Video Girl, Megan Good, and quite a few other big budget movies. So when you're working for like the union, just working in that department, it's like everybody had their own separate department. You had the camera,
Okay.
the arts department, the grip, and electric. So you was only confined in just that one department. So it was a challenge after working in the movie set in my early 20s. And then now I have kids, I have a husband, I have a regular job. And I remember when I first met him, he was like, "Oh, I only work a two-man crew, only work a two-man crew." So I was just willing to okay, that's fine. I'm willing to come in and just help out and volunteer wherever I fit in at, just to kind of gain my learning experience back after being offset for so many years. So when I came on to Leo, I kind of almost felt like I didn't fit in. I was awkward because I was older. I'm 36. Mm-hmm. Then we have a lot of people that's younger than me. And then you have a lot of people who just getting out, coming out into the filming school. They like, they got that energetic, like they know it all. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, I need to remember this. I need to remember that. A lot has changed from 2006 till now. And then I'm like, then we have a smaller crew. So one of my challenges was when we only have one department. So it's four of us and you have to do it all. Yep. So it's like, oh, we need someone to do makeup. We need someone to do lighting. I said, oh, wait a minute now. Hold on. I don't do makeup. I don't know nothing about lighting or anything like that because at that time I was just only confined to just one department, camera.
Yep.
So I felt like working on Leo, I had learned a lot just to be able to work with a smaller crew, a smaller team. And I do notice that on this set, it was a lot more of us African American set. And that's what I do like about that because a lot of the projects that I had worked on, it really wasn't that many of us. Okay. And then in the camera department that I worked in, I was the only female. in a like a male dominant area. Like the females,
Wow.
they always worked in makeup and makeup and arts department. But at that time, I was the only female.
And how was
And
that experience for you? I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm just wondering, how was that experience for you? Did you have to? Do you feel like you had to fight in order to get your words across?
it was a challenge because when I first started, um, trust me, some of the directors was very mean and rude. The DP that I had worked for, he was very rude to me because he just wasn't used to working with a female.
Okay.
He had his own crew. So when I was brought on, at the time I had these long fake nails, and they was like, "You're not gonna be able to slate with those nails on, and you got to get down and dirty. You're not gonna be able to carry all that heavy stuff, and women weak, and you're not gonna make it." But at that time, I was probably maybe 21 or 22.
Okay.
So it was some times when I had got into it with the DP, and I was like literally willing to walk off. But I also have a lot of relatives that work on movie sets. So I didn't want to be that person like, oh, she's the angry black woman. We knew it. I mean, working 13, 14, 16 hours, 2 days straight, in heat in Louisiana, like in heat in the swamps, um, camping out in different areas because sometimes when directors felt like they had to get that one specific,
Yep.
like the sunrise that come up.
Yeah.
And it was times that we literally had to stay out there just so we can catch that one snippet shot of the sunrise, and then they'd be like, "All right, everybody go home." So we did had long days and long hours, but I was willing to push through it. I was willing to make it. And I was willing to show people that us females can do this. Like no matter how much you down talk me or you try to run me away, I'm gonna still come back and try my hardest. And after that, the DP saw that I was really a hard worker, and ever since then he had kept me on. Like he just hired me through all the sets and everything that he worked on. So but I ended up getting pregnant with my kids.
Okay.
And working in the camera department is a lot of heavy lifting and long hours, so I couldn't do that while I was pregnant. So that's how I end up at the movie sets. So now to present,
There you go.
I'm finding my way back in, and it has been a struggle and challenge after being away from set for so many years. So once again, when I came in, it was another female named Shania that worked on it. So I was so happy to get a chance to see another female.
Mm-hmm.
That was on there also. So it's just like a lot has changed just seeing from the time I was doing it to now. And it was such a blessing, like I said, to see a lot more of us working on set together and to get along. So on set, like with just me, Nori, Kane, and Shania, we was able to work together as a team to get the lighting done, to get the makeup done, to tell the actors or actresses where they need to be at, just everybody working together just to try to get the shot done. Um, it was a challenge with me also because I am married.
Mm-hmm.
And I have kids, and it was sometimes my husband like, when you coming home? There's some long hours. You just gonna leave me at the house with the kids? But at the same time, my husband was more supportive because he knew that this is what I like to do.
Yeah.
So he was just kind of like, it is what it is. Just be safe.
Yeah.
So, but at the end of the day, going through the struggles, and also with me being partially deaf, I am partially deaf in my right ear. So it was kind of hard. I was
didn't
scared.
know that. Wow.
On that, I told him about that. He really supported me on that. He really made sure he let everybody know that you may have to speak up. If she's looking at you like this means she can't hear you or anything like that. So I felt like everything had worked smooth for all of us to be able to work together to get Leo done. All the actors and actresses was great. Director was great. Of course, you, the writer, was great. I
Thank
just
you.
felt like this was a great experience. And after this, I was able to be on another project that I am on currently now with Nori. So just hoping that there is many more projects that I can work on.
Yeah, that's huge, and I've heard nothing but great things about you. Uh, my first project, me and Nori actually got in a couple tussles, not physical tussles, but it's because I was so married to the writing, right? Everything had to be exactly what I wrote, and I had a lot of learning to do. So that's one of the main reasons why I try not to come to set anymore, because I'm like, in real life Hollywood, nine times out of 10, the screenwriter is not going to be sitting on set telling the director it must be like this. This is how I wrote it, right? Because that's just going to cause like a whole bunch of confusion. So that's what I'm trying to move towards, and I'm just glad that there's some solid people that's actually on set putting it together. And like I said, I've heard nothing but great things about your work ethic and just how you work as a person. So that's huge. And hearing all this history, I had no idea. I had no idea that you have had all that previous work experience. That's pretty neat. Hearing that. I'm very familiar with No Limit. I listen to Master P and all the time, so that's crazy.
Funny when I talk to some of the people, they're like, "Who?
Yeah. No.
Like, yes, I came out. I came out when. So y'all remember Candy Dable? They're like, no. I'm like, so I try to, it's like, I feel like I'm so old school, and I'm like, I'm only 36 though, but everybody have different listening skills because, like I said, I was in the South. So, a lot of the music probably didn't play so much up north. Just like a lot of the music up north probably didn't play so much in the South area. So that is where it comes across different like music ethics and stuff that we grew up on versus what we grow up on in today. So when we talked about like a lot of the old movies, like the Mike Epps comedy, Funny Business and stuff. Some people probably like, oh, I never heard of that. So I have worked in quite a few music videos, and when the Trill Fam was out with Lil Boosie and Weppy. So when they did that movie Ghetto Stories, I worked on that. So that was my first or my second intern before I started going into bigger budgets.
Okay.
And then I worked on the music video Better Believe It.
Okay.
With Lil Boosie and Young Jeezy. So I kind of came around those areas and all that stuff, but music videos and movies and stuff. So when coming back in today, yes, it is a big change.
Yep.
And a lot of the things, a lot of people just like, oh my God, you are like a veteran. And I'm like, yes, I am.
Look, I'm only 32, and people, I trip out when I hear people call me OG or something like that. I'm like, I'm not old. Like, don't call me that. But we took similar paths, right? Because I was a production assistant on a few things, and the film industry ended here in Michigan because of them incentives were cut out. And after that, I just kind of went into hands-on work, sales, and all that. So just recently, I want to say within the past 6 years, I traveled back into the film space too. So, and I get it. I got kids. I'm married too. So it's definitely, I get up at 3:00 in the morning to write, and my wife's like, "Where are you going?" So I understand where you're coming from. Can you speak on like the type of balance that you need while working in the film industry and having a family? Like, can you speak on that a little bit? How does that work out for you?
So at first it was a challenge because me and my husband, we known each other way back in Louisiana when I was working on industry. So it was just us two versus having kids and being married. So at first the balance was kind of off when I first started because, I was working a regular job and still had to, come home to be a mom for the kids and a wife for the husband and cook dinner and do that. But when I added the extra movies into it, then at first it was kind of rough. That I almost felt like, okay, maybe I need to just quit the movies. Maybe my time is up. Maybe this is it. So it was some times when I felt like I was slacking as a wife and a mom because, my kids, they acted all out in school.
Yep.
I couldn't be there for conference. Dinner wasn't getting done. House was just all out of control. Some setback, just trying to figure out how I can balance all this, that everything is getting done, and that everybody is on the right understanding track. So I got a chance to just sit down with my husband, just kind of communicate, and we kind of just took some time to just split some of the responsibility. That is like everything is not on one person, especially with me having extra things to do. And also just not to overwhelm myself. Like on an off day, I always try to use like an off day to just kind of meditate
Yeah.
and do some things for myself, especially when I do a lot, because I do have my own business that I run also. So I at least try to use 1 or 2 days out the week where it's just my time,
Okay.
where I could just meditate or go to the park or just something like just get my thoughts together like a refresher. And my husband was supportive on that too. He felt like, you do need that because if we just constantly running, we can burn ourselves out
Yeah,
and we
definitely.
can mess around and get sick or be stressed and overwhelmed or lack of sleep. And I try not to do that, especially us as women. We have a lot of load that we carry on too,
Hmm.
and I didn't want to put all that load on my husband. So just trying to find time out the week where you can mellow down and relax yourself, and also be able to talk or communicate with your spouse or whoever you're in a relationship with, and then just kind of come to agreement where we can split some of these responsibility that is evening out and not one person being overloaded with everything and the other person just kind of sitting back like I'm gonna go live my life and do what I want to do. You just sit at home and do that. So
All right. So earlier you were talking about a film that you are currently working on. Can you talk about that a little bit? How is that process going? What's the name of that film? And how did that come about?
so the name of the film is Magic.
Okay.
So I'm not this is Rainbow. I like to say Rainbow Magic,
Okay.
but and that is by Nori.
Okay. Yeah.
Nori that worked on Leo. So this is his project that he had wrote. He been working on it for a while, and I guess he finally got a chance to get it going. So
Okay.
the way how that came about is he had a message. I messaged him, and I'm like, "Is there any other projects coming up soon?" I'm starting to get a feeling in my bones, like I'm ready to get going now.
Right.
And
Right.
he told me he had this in mind. So I told him, I said, well, just let me know if you need anybody to work on it or any crew or anything, I'm available like that or whatever. So he was like, okay, yeah, I'll make sure I keep you in mind. So it had been a while before I heard from him. So I was like, maybe he forgot about me. So I had messaged him and I was like, did you let me hanging? Like, did you start a movie and you didn't tell me anything or something? Like, he said, no. I ain't forget. So I finally got the message that we were starting.
Mhm.
And I was happy and excited. And then he sent me like the schedules and everything. And just being back on that, it was the same crew again.
Yeah.
So we kind of already was familiar with each other, and we kind of knew how we worked. And I kind of remember where some of the equipments and stuff was at. Before on Leo, he used to have to remind me and show me things, but now I'm
Yeah.
kind of familiar with things, so I can kind of just go straight to the equipments and stuff. Then when we first started, Nori had tested me a little bit because on all the movies I worked on, I always been like a second assistant camera, like second AC. I haven't really did first AC, so I already did second AC, like keeping the camera notes, doing slate and stuff. So
Mhm.
I never really too much pull focus and
Okay.
touch the camera for the camera operator. So it had been some time that Nori tried to challenge me. He was like, "Look, I want you to pull focus." And I'm like, "Oh no, I'm not trying to mess up no shots. I'm not trying to mess up the camera. I'm not trying to." And he would not let up on me. I almost felt bad. But
One last question. What do you recommend to somebody who's trying to follow in your footsteps? Somebody who's trying to do similar things that you're doing now, who wants to work on crews, who wants to be a part of set, who wants to be in the middle like I said, down in the trenches of the actual filmmaking process, what do you recommend? Like, what advice do you give to that person that's trying to come up and do that?
The advice I give to someone is sometimes everything that we do is not always about the money, and I think
Mm,
that's where um, a lot of people kind of get mixed up because if we're fresh out of school or fresh out of learning, we're not just going to come out and be like, oh no, you got to pay me
mm,
to come on set because sometimes it may not be things that they teach us in school may not be exactly that way on set.
mm,
And sometimes you may have to do some interning or volunteer work and stuff to kind of get your foot in the door.
yeah.
So for someone who truly wants to do this, like this is their passion, um, and they want to try to get somewhere, I will always suggest that like try to find like wood TVA, like different things
Mm,
that you feel like, oh, I want to help out here, or let me volunteer, or I just want to learn this and stuff. And when people see that you are a hard worker and you really truly just want to learn and get your foot in the door and not just always about the money, 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 and pay me this, pay me that, and I work this rate, then that is what's going to get you a long way.
mm,
Because along the way, you will eventually get to a project or a movie when people are like, okay, I'm going to pay you for your work because you stuck it out with us and you worked hard. You showed us that you work hard, you can do this, and you was managed to get things done. And even though you had a lot of stuff going on in life, you still managed to pull through.
right.
Um, and sometimes there will be times that you will have jerks. You will have people that are jerks, um, who you feel like that's just mean to you and stuff. It's all about how to handle the situation and not just going off in full, like in full anger and rage. Because sometimes that can show people that you don't know how to control your attitude. You don't know how to control um, just anything because someone can tell you something or criticize you and tell you something you ready to just pop off the mouth with all.
Right,
So
right, right.
sometimes we don't know everything. It's always someone that can teach us something that we don't know. So everything is a learning process, a learning experience, even if we feel like we know everything.
Gotcha. Well, Bianca, I want to thank you so much for coming on to the show today. Thank you for coming to Keep It Film with me. Thank you for sharing your experience. Thank you for being willing to work in the trenches on set. I know sometimes it can be a challenge dealing with different actors, dealing with different crew members, dealing with different writers, producers. I know that can be challenging sometimes, so I just want to say I really appreciate that. And I'm looking forward to working with you in the future. If you want to work with me again, looking forward to
Yes,
that.
it's welcome. I'm so glad to be here, and hopefully y'all see me on many more.
Most
Hopefully I
definitely.
see you on many more.
Most definitely. And to the viewers, thank you for chiming in again. Thank you for coming to Keep It Film with me. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button and come back again. All right. I'll see y'all later. Peace.